All right, welcome to another Sam Walker OBX News podcast. Joined today by Matt Khouri from Outer Banks Boil Company, and Matt has been coordinating all the efforts here on the Outer Banks for Operation Airdrop. Matt, real quick, tell us more about Operation Airdrop.
Yeah, Operation Airdrop is actually it's a national organization, and what they do is they mobilize during these sort of times of crisis, especially hurricanes. A couple years ago, we did a run to Fort Myers after the big hurricane down there, and that was kind of the first I had heard about them. But they're the real masterminds here. They mobilize, all these private pilots, all these guys and the planes and things like that to get supplies to these areas in need. And what they do typically is they set up like a staging area a little away from the zone. Supplies get flown in, from all these private pilots that volunteer their time and their planes and all the things that they're doing. They get them there, and then from there, helicopters, other planes, they kind of disperse them to the areas in need. So as of right now, that staging area is at Concord, North Carolina, I believe just east of Charlotte. A lot of pilots are flying in there. We're going to have about, hopefully, 1,000 pounds on this plane right here. We flew 700 yesterday in this aircraft. We loaded up another 400. We have another flight going tomorrow, and then quite a few other flights. But it's really amazing what they're doing in such a short amount of time, and to get so many needed supplies to places that need them. So it's amazing stuff. So
I talk more about yesterday's flight because, like I said, going into Concord, which everybody knows if you're a NASCAR fan, that's NASCAR Aviation runs out of there.
Absolutely.
You guys weren't able to fly in there yesterday.
Yeah.
You had to go to a little farther east to Stanley County.
Yeah. So we were, we were airborne, and it was one of the busiest days of flying I've ever seen. Right. So there were so many planes up, and they have obviously the normal planes that are flying, but then you had all these private pilots that are going in. And as we were getting out there, we were overweight, on the way out, but we were really low on fuel. So we were basically bingo fuel at that time, which is, kind of the minimum level you can have to be safe. So we were vectored to Stanley County. From there, we got in contact with the folks at Concord, and they basically told us to go to Rutherford County. So we flew there. It was about an hour flight, 3 hours total. So 2 hours to Stanley, another hour to Rutherford. We got there, and man, when we got there, there was multiple planes taxiing on the runway as we were there. There was planes landing behind us. There was planes taking off. There was helicopters there. The whole effort there was amazing. And then as soon as we landed, there was a whole shuttle line of people that were moving all of the supplies off and then into a box truck and then to be distributed. So, credit to all those folks there. There's a lot of volunteers from Habitat, which was out there, and then, some of the local folks. And, you could see in the folks that were from that area just how tired, but how grateful they were. But it was an amazing operation to see it, just kind of, with my own eyes, and just really honored to be a part of it. And so proud of this whole community for coming together.
Let's talk about that because we talk so much about what happens here in the Outer Banks of northeastern North Carolina. How many times we've dealt with situations like this, and the rest of the state and the rest of the country have responded because they love us so much. They love our area so much.
Of course.
The Western North Carolina, the mountains is the same thing, but for us, that's our getaway.
Right.
So I know that's really been what's kind of appealed to everyone to really contribute. It's because all the generosity we've seen over the years here.
Yeah.
And then to see the generosity has just exploded across the region just from when you started posting Sunday, Monday about doing this, and it just went from there. Tell me more about what that response has been like.
It was wild, man. I was actually in Costa Rica, this weekend, and I saw what was happening. I saw it on Facebook. Saw these awful images and what was happening out west there, and it was just really easy to be like, all right, well, we got to do something, right? And like you said, we know hurricanes, we know storms, we know weather, we deal with it, annually, right? So we're typically prepared. Out there, it doesn't really make sense for a hurricane to hit out there, but the rainfall and all the things that they had, we knew, at least I knew we needed to do something, and credit to so many people, but it was so quick, the way people came together. And it was amazing to see too, because there were folks from Corova to Hatteras, everywhere in between, right? All the donation sites we set up, and then over in the mainland too, right? There's breweries over there doing stuff, Miles and all those guys, and the Currituck County hangar was another area that we set up as a drop site and a kind of a staging area. That hangar is basically cleaned out now. Thousands of pounds just went out of there. Just had a guy that reached out last night. I was actually airborne. It's like 8:30 and 9,000 feet, and I got a random phone call, and I was able to answer, which is kind of crazy, but this guy was like, hey, I got a chopper. I can take 2,000 pounds. Where do you want me? So he was there this morning, just texted me, full helicopter, flying out to Concord right now. That hangar's basically cleaned out. And again, it's tough to put into words exactly how to just say thank you and just to see this community, how it all came together like this. I mean, we got volunteers here that are sorting through, loading up, guys, pilots, that are going to do this stuff. It's amazing. It's amazing.
All right, well, let's just show everybody the process.
Yeah,
Let's just go right through it, because yeah, go ahead.
We'll kind of look here. I mean, this is all the donations, and yesterday we took about probably 1,300 pounds. I think we're loading up here on this plane right now. You'll see kind of the diapers and some other things. That should have about 1,000 pounds. We'll walk out here and check it out.
Yeah.
This is one of our pilots here, Sam. Sam, say what's up.
Plus what I brought in. So this is like.
Say hi,
Hey,
Sam.
how's it going?
There you go. What's up?
Dennis there. So we got that plane going out here. We're going to have another plane going out tomorrow as well for sure. And we're just waiting on other pilots and planes. I believe the FedEx guys and their plane just on the other side. We're hoping we can get them loaded up as well. But, that plane right there is what we flew yesterday. That's down for maintenance right now. But again, it's just amazing. And a couple doors down, we had the folks from the OBX Jeepers who gathered supplies at Walmart, I saw, and I mean, that whole building was full. You know what I mean? We also have multiple box trucks that are coming here. Hey, baby girl. We got the puppy showing us love.
Yeah, exactly.
We got folks that are donating their personal trucks, their personal trailers. They're finding ways to get vehicles to drive it out, And look, it's a much shorter flight than it is to drive, but the way people, have just volunteered their time, their money, their the supplies they're donating, it's amazing. It really is. It just shows the good and the beauty and just the community that is the Outer Banks. So it's special.
Yeah, we were showing the inside of the plane. Let's show folks what's inside the hangar right now, because there's a process you guys have to go through when you're doing this. It's not just load up, let's just throw the whole thing, see if we can fill this plane up.
Right.
It's a very meticulous process that you got to go through.
Yeah, there's weight balance issues, right? So when you're flying these planes, you have to actually do fuel calculations. So depending on how much fuel you have in the airplane, kind of dictates how much you can have in terms of capacity, and including the pilots, right? So we actually removed the seats. You can see seats are removed from this plane from yesterday. That gave us a little bit more room, a little bit more weight we could take. And then as far as like the donations and supplies, we have it kind of put in different spots, right? There's food. That was a big request from Rutherford yesterday. Was like, we need food, so formula and food. We got diapers, we have clothes, we have cleaning supplies, there's water, but we're basically taking the supplies, we're putting them on the scale to get a good measurement, and then from there they go on the plane, and once you hit that threshold, then you're good, and you burn fuel and weight kind of comes off as you're flying, but again, for safety, you got to make sure that your fuel and your weight in terms of the cargo match your performance basically on the aircraft. So,
all right. So we had all these donations of supplies.
Yeah, correct.
But there's something else you need, and that's fuel, and that costs money. And this is going to looks like it's going to be a long process, even though with the slow process it's going to take to get everything back, infrastructure back in the western third of the state. Yeah. It's going to be a long process. So ways folks can still contribute, even though it's like you guys are getting the supplies, but there's other things you're going to need, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it just right now in the short term, we're accepting donations at ourepicproject.com, which is the charitable arm of Outer Banks Oil Company. The focus is typically mental health and entrepreneurship, and a week-long vacation for deserving family. But we've kind of shifted gears a little bit, and right now we're accepting donations for the pilot gas. These pilots are donating their time, their planes, their expertise to go and do these missions. But gas costs money, obviously. So we're accepting those donations on the website. And then there's also a number of different, organizations and GoFundMes and charities out there that are accepting monetary donations to directly help, these folks that have been impacted, right? So I believe the Outer Banks Community Foundation has a partner, the Western North Carolina Community Foundation that's accepting donations. But the biggest piece of advice I can tell folks right now, I know we all want to help. You want to do it the right way, but vet these charities that you're donating to. Make sure you're not putting money somewhere that is not the right place, right? There's unfortunately people with ill intentions out there, and just do your homework. Like I said, I got those two, Outer Banks, the Western North Carolina Community Foundation and the Our Epic Project for Pilot Gas. So those two are great options, and there's just a lot of people that need help, and supplies are good, money's good, but like you said, it's going to take time to rebuild that area. So,
Matt, thanks so much for having us out here, and Well, I say congratulations because you guys, you're doing the Lord's work.
That's right.
And you're showing what we've gotten so much love in the past from folks when we've hit situations like this. Now we get a chance to give that back.
And that feels really good. And again, I'm just so proud of this community. Look, this is not a me thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is a we thing. And we are a small part of this bigger picture. And, we're doing good stuff. So just so proud. And thank you to everyone that's been a part of this, that's made this possible. You got to show my mom there. Mom, mom.
Get her better side.
Just say hello. That's mom there.
Yeah.
She's honestly, without her, while I was away and work that she did in terms of coordinating all this stuff, she's been vital. Brady here from Outer Banks Aviation, all of these folks, just, our maintenance team, Chuck here, like without these different pieces, we can't do this work. And it's just a total team effort and to do some really good stuff. So thank you all. Thank you all.